playoff season full of buzzer beaters, but as far back as we can track, 740 series all time, the Bulls-Cavaliers East semifinal is the first time there have been decisive shots at the horn of consecutive games. Each, by the way, by former MVPs, Derrick Rose in Game 3, LeBron James in Game 4. It's enough to make a person want to call a timeout, if he has one, and appreciate the drama. Nearly as dramatic, the pregame injury reports tonight, with injured all-stars in varying states of fitness ahead of Game 5. Pau Gasol sat out for the second straight game with his injured hamstring, so no Pau for the Bulls in Cleveland. For the Cavs, LeBron was back after near continuous treatment on his sprained ankle, and Kyrie Irving told Rachel Nichols he thought he'd be as much of a decoy as anything else for Game 5. Here's Derrick Rose. No decoy there. He hit 5 of his first 7 shots, had 12 in the first quarter. Story of the night, though, the King. You really don't call him the King. No. LeBron James locked in from the start.
What does Mama call him?
Baby. Baby.
I don't know about you guys. I didn't think Irving really looked like a decoy here.
He had a fantastic game tonight. He responded well.
Well, the decoy was in his statement that I'll be a decoy.
That might have been the decoy.
Sure.
That was the deception, at least. Rose still attacking, finishing there. Chicago up by 5. Cleveland backcourt pretty good all night. Iman Shumpert to Irving. And they were knocking down shots. He had 25 more than his previous 2 games combined in this series. Second quarter, LeBron scores the Cavaliers' first 12.
Nice move.
He got it going down there in that block.
Once he gets it going down on the block, it's not much you can do. He's going to start handling the ball as the game goes on, but when he's aggressive, taking it to the hole, getting down in the paint, getting turnaround jump shots and layups, getting to the free throw line, they're going to be tough to beat.
He had 16 in the second quarter, 24 by halftime. Cleveland led it by 10 as they hit the locker room. Rose, a swipe here, finds Jimmy Butler, his running mate, for the layup. The Bulls still down just 4. And then it's Nikola Mirotic to Butler. Locked and loaded for 3. Cleveland's lead down to 1.
Cleveland just hanging around. Keep it close.
J.R. Smith, past Dunleavy.
That was a tough shot.
Cavs by 6. James and 1. Made the free throw. Cleveland up by 9. Cavs had all the momentum as the third quarter closed, or so it seemed. Check this out. Closing seconds of the third. It's Mirotic from what they're calling 48 feet. Swish.
And what was really interesting about that shot, it seems like Cleveland was on their way to kind of blowing the game open. That actually kept Chicago in it, gave them a chance to kind of respond and then really deflate the crowd. Took a lot of breath out of them.
You love how the emotions come into play in these games. Who can handle it, who can't, who gets into it, who doesn't. Aaron Brooks' bucket here. Taj Gibson and Matthew Dellavedova tangled up. Gibson's called for a flagrant 2 after trying to free his leg. Watch Dellavedova. First of all, he must have eyes in the back of his head to know exactly when to clamp onto Gibson's leg. And Gibson responds with a little kick there, and that got him thrown out.
You think that's the first time he's done that?
Yeah, but I thought when they went in and they looked at the video, they should have saw that, you know, he had him in a leg lock, and I thought both of them should have been.
Well, Aaron Brooks came in and shoved somebody, and he escaped without any punishment either, all under the watchful eyes of Adam Silver.
Yeah, but the leg lock definitely, I mean, you know, like tit for tat, both of them should have got.
It's a wrestling move right there.
Cavs eventually put together an 18-5 run. They had a 17-point lead. James with his only 3 of the night, and he passes Jason Kidd for 9th in the all-time postseason made threes list. He had 38, but the Bulls answer with their own 18-5 run. Butler to Joakim Noah.
You know, anytime you get buckets out of Noah, you know you're doing well because he's out there strictly to defend and rebound.
Butler with 3 of his 29 on the night.
Chicago showed a lot of grit and heart, just continuing to chip away at that lead.
Absolutely. And this was just an incredible play right here.
One of the plays of the night.
I think it was a play of the night. They had a chance to tie the game. LeBron, man, that was That's a vintage move right there. He's been doing that for years.
You've seen that before, up close.
Luckily, it wasn't my shot.
James misses here. Ball gets batted around. It pinballs into the hands of Amon Shumpert. Kyrie Irving would knock down a couple of free throws to make it a two-possession game, and then the Bulls just not executing late. Noah throws it away. He had 4 of the Bulls' 11 turnovers. It was pretty improbable that Chicago was in this game. No Pau Gasol. Derrick Rose was clearly injured, as you'll hear more about in just a moment, and somehow it's a 5-point game. Cleveland takes the 3-2 lead. And by the way, I'm obligated to tell you that in Game 5s, when the two teams were tied at 2, the winners of those Game 5s go on to win the series 82% of the time. I know everyone hates that, but I have to tell you.
I know. You're an analytics guy?
That's not really analytics.
Okay.
That's just numbers. Okay. LeBron's 35th career 30-10 postseason game. That's roughly 21% of the postseason games he's played.
But I was asking you to answer my question. You're an analytics guy.
A little. That's not really analytics.
I didn't ask you.
That's basic math.
But isn't it numbers?
It is numbers, yes. Okay. We're having 2 different conversations. You two talk amongst yourselves while Rachel Nichols goes over the particulars from Cleveland.
What did it take for you guys to play this way in this Game 5?
We got to give what we got. And whatever it is out on the floor, if we're on the floor, we have to try to produce and help our team win and lead them. And, you know, it was great that I was able to be. I was 24-hour around the clock since Game 4.
I mean, you're not kidding. You actually slept getting treatment, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I slept treatment every single day since Game 4. And, you know, through the grace of the man above and my personal trainer, Mike Mancias, he did a great job of helping myself get ready. And Kyrie's been around the clock as well. We're just happy we're able to do some things to help our team win.
The points you scored tonight or that block on Derrick Rose at the end, what meant the most to you?
I would say the rebounds and the extra possessions. I was very efficient tonight, you know, and that's what I want to be for my teammates.
Now, while LeBron's performance dominated Game 5, the night was not without controversy. The Bulls' Taj Gibson was ejected in the second half after officials ruled he kicked Matthew Dellavedova. But after the game, Gibson had a very different account.
He leg locked me. I just pulled my leg back, and it made it look like I kicked him. Not a dirty play at all, but he just leg locked me. I tried to get my foot out of there. He was pretty strong for a little guy.
There were some fans who threw some things at you as you left. What did you feel?
That's what happens when you're in Cleveland. Second time in a row they threw stuff at us, but it's classless. But we have to play. We're here to play basketball. I can't focus on that kind of stuff.
Did you think that was excessive to go ahead and eject him, and what kind of influence did that play on the game?
You know, I'm not sure. Just bizarre. Yeah, I saw it.
Derrick Rose was also of concern in the game's second half. He was seen flexing his hand and wrist several times and received treatment on his shoulder during a timeout. When asked about the injury, Rose simply said, "No excuses," and noted that while the Bulls are now facing elimination, quote, "It's not the end, and we're not quitting." In Cleveland, I'm Rachel Nichols.
What a night for LeBron James. 38 points, 12 boards, 6 assists along the way, 3 blocks, 3 steals. He's now on this list of guys who've put up 35, 10, 5, 3, and 3. Elvin Hayes, Dwayne Wade. Wade and James did it without turnovers. They weren't tracking turnovers when Elvin did it. And you played, of course, with Dwayne Wade. Excuse me, Wade had 5 turnovers. James did it without a turnover. We don't know about Elvin. You, of course, played with Dwayne. You played with LeBron. I don't think you played with Elvin.
No, I don't think so.
No, I didn't think so. Just make.
I watched tape.
So the Bulls are going back home for Game 6, but it certainly doesn't look great for Chicago right now. Rose obviously banged up, whatever was going on with his hand, wrist, arm, shoulder, etc. He missed 15 of his last 17 shots in this game. He missed his final 11 along the way. Can the Bulls win this series if Pau Gasol doesn't come back in soon?
Well, I don't think so. I think it'll be very tough. But, you know, looking at Cleveland, they have their own problems. But you want to be as close to 100% as possible. And you definitely want to have a guy who can stretch the floor, who can rebound, protect the rim, and you can dump it down in the low post to him. And, you know, Powell is one of their leaders. He's done it a bunch of different times. And, you know, they're missing that. And you definitely need that. But If I was Chicago, I would just kind of take a step back, look at it, and, you know, despite everything that happened, even with Taj Gibson getting ejected, even with them being banged up, they still had a chance to tie the game. I'm not saying they had a chance to win. They had a chance to tie the game. They had multiple chances. And I think if you're looking at going back home to Chicago, you feel that there are so many things that you can correct. And they went to the line 28 times a day. That's something that they have to continue to do, is be aggressive, especially at home.
What do you make of where we stand now through 5 games?
If you're Cleveland, you know, you got to go to Chicago and win. But I also think Chicago, the way they played tonight, I think they're feeling pretty confident, you know, because they had a chance to win in Cleveland on the road. They didn't get blown out. They're right in it at the end. So now they're getting on the bus or they're getting on the plane. They're going back to Chicago and they're saying, hey, you know, we can win at home. And Cleveland needs to be careful, because if Chicago wins at home and it's a blowout win, then they're coming back to Cleveland in a Game 7 with all the momentum. So, you know, let's take a close look at that game in Chicago, and we'll see what the score is, because if Chicago plays well and they blow Cleveland out, they're coming back with all the momentum in a Game 7 back at Cleveland.
Grant, what if the LeBron James we saw tonight shows up for Game 6 on Thursday?
It's over. And, you know, I really have to commend LeBron. I mean, after Game 3, that heartbreaking loss where Derrick Rose hit that buzzer beater, in the press conference, he put it on himself. You know, he deflected all the attention from his teammates, Kyrie Irving, who's been struggling. LeBron said, it's on me. I have to play better. And he has. He came through in Game 4 with the big shot, and tonight his aggressiveness. So if LeBron is playing like royalty, then, you know, they have a chance. I won't say king, but if he's playing like royalty, they have a chance of closing this out. But they have to come ready to play. Chicago, I do agree with Isaiah. With Pau Gasol out, with Derrick Rose struggling with injury, with them never really getting into a rhythm out there, it was a 2-point game with 48 seconds left. They get that rebound on that last possession, it may be a different outcome. So they got to take care of business. If not, then a lot like the Houston Clipper game, where now they went home. It's a different ball game. They went at home. They're feeling good about themselves. You don't want to come back to have to play Game 7 in Cleveland. And so Cleveland's going to go there, and Mr. James is going to bring his A game, and it should be a good one.